I know so many college students. I know so many young adults who are stressed about money when they should be stressed about the education. They should be stressed about doing the homework, not about money. And we as in parents, we have to make sure that we are positioning ourselves and making uncomfortable, sometimes making decisions that may not feel good to us so that our kids can have a comfortable future. And one of the best ways to do that is a 529. It's called a 529 plan. This is a game changer for educational savings. If you're not familiar with the 529, it's a tax advantage investment account designed to help you save for the educational expenses like college, like trade schools, like anything specifically around further education. But it's not just for education. It can also be a part of a broader wealth building strategy. Here's why it's so important. Here's the number one thing, the tax benefits. You see, contributions grow tax-free. And withdrawals are tax-free when used for qualified educational expenses. Watch this. When I say qualified educational expenses, if you can show this is going to a trade school, this is going to a community college, this is going to a university, this is going towards a nurse program, this is going towards books, this is going towards anything that is a qualified educational expense, you get to withdraw that money tax-free. So this means if I put in $25,000 of my money, I get to, watch this, the next thing is, depending on certain states, it is a state tax deduction. For an example, in the state of Maryland, I can write off up to $2,500 a year for the money that I put in. So I'm putting in this money tax-free. I get to write off $2,500. But if that $2,500 grows to $10,000, for an example, I don't have to pay the tax differences between $2,500 and $10,000. So that's $7,500 that I get to withdraw to help my kid go to college debt-free that I did not invest into. That's not my money. I only gave $2,500. We got $10,000. We don't got to pay taxes on it because we're getting it tax-free. Which leads me to the second point up under the tax benefits. It's the state tax deductions. You see, many states like Maryland offer a state income tax deduction for 529 contributions, which can lower your taxable income. And so what we're going to do, Ed, Michelle, remind me to put a link inside of the show notes to where you all can go and see what state, what's the state limits, what can you write off. For an example, like the state of California, you can't write off nothing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But let me teach you the code. I have nephews and nieces that I have a 529 for. I opened them up one in the state of Maryland because that's where I live. Now, if they go to a college inside of California, for an example, they still get to take advantage of it, and I still get to write it off. You just can't be in the state of California and open it up and have a tax write-off. But if you live in the state of Maryland, and if I contribute it to the state of Maryland, I can use that money for any college my kids go to. There's another benefit, the flexibility. You see, if your child doesn't use the 529 funds, you can transfer the account to another family member, such as a sibling, or even use it for your own financial education, or even use it for your spouse. So if your kids decide not to go, and let's say as a parent, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go to school, or my wife is gonna go to school, then, you can transfer it. You can transfer it. Now, we'll talk about this a little bit later on. I don't know if I would transfer it to my spouse, because that's for my child. So if my child says, hey, you know what, Dad, I want to be in a family business, I will still figure out some way for them to get some form of education. But if they don't use all of it, I'm going to transfer that money into a Roth IRA. So now we're building towards their wealth years, their wisdom years. Now they're starting off with an extra 50 grand, 100 grand inside of their wealth years, which is a retirement account. So now that money is growing for the next 40 years. They're going to be $2-3 million in the hole, in the green, just for that one account. Now, here's another benefit. It's the large contribution limits. You see, some states allow over $300,000 in contributions. This is plenty of room for growth. There's no income limits. Whether you make $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year, you can contribute to a 529 plan without any restrictions, making it accessible to everyone.
Here is the truth. I am always looking for practical ways to help you build, right, wealth, specifically generational wealth and legacy. And one of the best ways you can do that is with life insurance. That's why I partner with my friends at Ethos. They make buying life insurance simple and hassle-free. Whether you're the main provider for your family or want to make sure your loved ones aren't left with financial burdens like debt, life insurance is a powerful way to provide financial security. As a business owner and a homeowner, I took this seriously and secured a $2 million life insurance policy through Ethos. Why? Because having a peace of mind, knowing my family will be cared for when I'm no longer here, is extremely priceless. What I love about Ethos is their quick and straightforward process. You can apply entirely online in as little as 10 minutes. I'm not even exaggerating. I did it myself. Listen, no medical exams, just a few health questions that you must answer honestly. Plus, it's affordable, making it easier to protect your family without breaking the bank. Listen, I want you to lock in your rate today by visiting anthonyoneal.com/life insurance or click the link below to get your personalized free quote today. Listen, as we're getting back to this show, I want you to protect your loved ones. Don't play around with it. Be like me. I promise you. It's a hard conversation to have, but you will sleep peacefully knowing that you took care of your family. Go to anthonyoneal.com/life insurance. Let's get back to the show to help you keep building this wealth.
The key thing about the 529 is that it can start off as education, but if they don't use it all for education, we can transfer that into a Roth IRA, right? And it will continue to grow tax-free. Now what we're doing, the show is all about setting them up to be millionaires. This is now setting them up with income. Income, watch this, income that now they can continue investing into. Now you give them $100,000, $50,000 in an account. Tell them, hey, just put $100 in there a month while you're in school. Now, before you know it, they're 25 years old and they're worth $500,000. How many 25-year-olds who come from ordinary families have an extraordinary bank account? And they have an extraordinary bank account because of the decisions you made when they were young. Because of the decisions that you made before they were even born. Come here, young people. Come here, single people with no kids. You're like me. I know that God is going to bless me one day to have a family. And as where my treasure is, so is my heart. And I've started investing into a 529 that's going, and the beneficiary is going to my trust, because I want to look at my son, I want to look at my daughter and say, you know what? Before I knew who you were, come on, God, before I met your mother, I knew that God was going to bless me with you. And I wanted to show you that I loved you so much that I thought about you before you were even born. No, I'm not saying, y'all, you need to open up the 529 and put $500 a month in there. No, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Here's a simple plan. I'm just putting $2,500 a year in it right now. Now, once I have a kid, I'm going to max it out. But why? Think about this. Ooh, it's going to be a good show. Think about this. Would I rather pay the IRS extra $2,500? Or would I rather set aside some money for my future child? And let's just say I never have the child. It's just a part of my legacy now. It goes to my trust. It will pass down to my nephews, my nieces, I call them my cousin daughters. You know, I have two cousins that I've adopted as my daughters. And it'll go to them and their families. I would rather sow into my child's future than sow into the IRS. We keep complaining, and I'm going off script here a little bit, but I just feel the Lord just leading me here. We keep complaining as black people or white people, the system's made for white people, the system's made for white people. With that going on, some of us will shut the heck up and start using the system for black people. We got to start doing that. So I'm always learning. I'm always sitting back and trying to figure out, okay, what are you doing that I'm not doing? And I may not be able to do it at your magnitude. But if I could do it at my level, dag on it, I'm going to do it. Oh, you putting money in the 529. Instead of you giving the IRS $2,500, you giving this money $2,500. You're getting the benefits of it today that your child will weep for it tomorrow. And we always say a white privilege. Well, daggone it, I'm ready for black privilege. Daggone it, I'm ready for O'Neal privilege. I'm ready for my child to get to college and their peers be looking at my child like, oh, you just got privilege. She sure do, he sure do. I busted my rear end to make sure that my child has certain privileges that I wasn't blessed to have. I'm tired of us complaining about what we don't have access to. I'm ready to do the work.